What if the reason some battles keep getting harder is not because God is absent, but because you've been speaking sacred things into unsafe ears? You've made a mistake, and the guilt is eating you alive. And in your desperation to be understood, you've told too much, trusted too quickly, spoken what should have been protected. And now you're wondering what it really takes to be forgiven, to feel peace again, to stop bleeding in public while healing in private. There are moments in Scripture where God's wisdom sounds almost dangerous because it contradicts our urge to explain ourselves, defend ourselves, or seek validation. And this is one of them, because not everything God does in you is meant to be announced, and not everyone who listens is assigned to carry the weight of your truth. Joseph learned this early when he shared his dreams too soon. Innocent words igniting jealousy that led him to a pit, because revelation without discernment can turn promise into persecution. You may feel the same sting now, realizing that some people didn't clap because they couldn't see what God showed you, and others smile while sharpening knives behind your back, and the guilt whispers that you should have known better, but God doesn't waste lessons learned the hard way. There are things He asks you to guard, not because they're shameful, but because they're powerful, fragile, and unfinished, like seeds that must stay buried before they can break the soil. Jesus Himself moved this way, healing some and telling them to say nothing, speaking in parables so only the hungry would lean in, withdrawing from crowds when praise grew loud, because even the Son of God understood timing, boundaries, and silence. You've been tired of life, tired of carrying secrets, tired of feeling misunderstood. So you talked, hoping words would lighten the load, but instead they made it heavier, because some truths are meant to be prayed through before they're spoken out loud. When guilt presses on you now, it's not just about the mistake you made. It's about realizing that wisdom is not only about what you do, but about what you withhold. David ran for his life with a calling on his head and learned to pour his anguish out to God instead of the wrong people, because God can handle what others will weaponize. And here's the plot twist that changes everything. Silence is not weakness when God is shaping you. It's strategy. There are things you don't share because they're still under construction, prayers you don't announce because they invite interference, wounds you don't expose because healing hasn't sealed them yet, victories you don't broadcast because humility protects what pride would destroy, and fears you don't confess to everyone because some listeners feed on doubt instead of faith. This isn't about living guarded out of fear. It's about living guided by discernment, understanding that intimacy is earned, not assumed, and access to your inner life is sacred. Even Jesus told His disciples there were things they couldn't bear yet, not because they lacked value, but because timing matters, and revelation given too early can crush instead of clarify. You may feel convicted right now, replaying conversations, posts, confessions, moments where you handed pearls to people who trampled them, and the ache of that realization can feel sharp, but conviction is mercy when it leads to wisdom. Forgiveness doesn't just cleanse the past, it teaches you how to walk differently going forward, how to pause before you speak, how to ask God, is this for sharing or is this for shaping? Because peace doesn't come from saying everything, it comes from saying the right thing to the right source, and sometimes that source is God alone. When you learn this, something shifts inside you. A quiet strength replacing the need to explain, a settled confidence that doesn't require applause, a faith that can be hidden like yeast until it changes everything. You stop bleeding in rooms that don't know how to bandage wounds, and you start healing in the presence of the one who never betrays trust. This is not isolation, it's alignment. It's realizing that not everyone is meant to hear your process. Only your testimony when God finishes the work. So if you're feeling exposed, regretful, or tired from over-explaining, let this be your turning point, not into secrecy, but into sacred discernment, where your words become intentional and your silence becomes holy. God is not punishing you for speaking. He's inviting you to listen, to protect what He's birthing, and to find peace not in being understood by people, but in being known by Him. And if this message hit a place you didn't expect, if it felt like a mirror instead of a microphone, don't scroll past it. Share it with someone who needs wisdom right now, and type, "I will guard what God gave me," in the comments as a declaration that from this moment on, your story is handled with care.